Now, we are going to talk about facilitation, but not just any type of facilitation. We're going to talk about non-boring facilitation, because one of the biggest challenges that I hear L&Ds talking about is that people don't interact in our workshops, they don't share knowledge, and they end up going out of the workshop maybe just as they went into the workshop, which is not what we want. We want them to be there. We want them to take things out of our workshops, learn, and apply lots of things once they're out. And we're not going to explore this topic on our own. We have with us Lena, and I can see so many people already saying hi to Lena. So Lena, if you can just wave at the camera for the moment and say hi. Awesome. We have also a heart here. So Lena's also happy to be with us. Okay, so the question is, how might we turn our workshops into learning experiences that are impactful? And the angle we're exploring today is, what are the skills, the competencies that we need as facilitators, as the L&Ds, to make sure that our workshops are more impactful? And as much as I would like to give you our answer, before I do that, I'm going to ask you to write in the chat, what do you think is the skill, or are the skills of a non-boring facilitator? Okay, so you have to think a bit beyond the normal facilitation. Okay, we have humor, we have energy and charisma, we have humor. I'm doomed because I'm not that funny. So I might not be the most, I might end up being a boring facilitator. We have embodiment, Lena will love that. We have energy, we have reading the room, creativity, the ability to pivot, read the room again, staying present, DJ skills, that's a very, very good one. Teresa, we have adaptability. Someone said surprise, I like that. Yes, I like that too. Empathy, utilizing tools for engagement and participation, for sure. Engaging questions, collaboration, creating interactive sessions. We have empathy a lot. Understanding learning science, love this one. Allow space for discussion, patience, adult learning style. So you can already see some patterns being, just by pulling out of our common knowledge. And what I'm gonna do, Lena do in a second, is show you what our view of a non-boring facilitator is. We've been working with Lena for a while now, and we can say from both her partners in crime and from her being her participants, that she's definitely the epitome of a non-boring facilitator. And I'm very, very happy to partner with her again and to bring you this topic today. So Lena, again, this time you have the floor to explore this topic with everyone.
Thank you very much, Lavinia. I'm flattered for the good words. Also from all the beautiful words that we got in the chat, like people that I know for a very long time, colleagues, people that we studied together, and very new faces. So welcome everyone. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Lena Nasiakou, and I'm now sitting in the Netherlands where I live, but I come from Greece, a beautiful, warm country, living in the rainy Netherlands, but what can you do? Very cool to see all your answers. And together we are going to explore a little bit this competency framework that we've developed together with the Offbeat team, and also practice. Explore, give each other advice, give some tips, so you get some new stuff in your pocket as a non-boring facilitator. So the competency framework that we've established has some core competencies that you will see, and a couple of supportive competencies. And everything actually is aligned with what you've already put in the chat. Maybe, Lavinia, if you can press the button for the first one. Yes. So what we saw is that the very first thing that is very important is to be able to coach learners. So when we are facilitating, we're not anymore the wizards, the knowledge holders. I mean, we have Google for this and ChatGPT now, right? But we are there to guide the people, to help them get their own insights, to elicit answers from them, and in this way to really make things non-boring and engaging for our people. In order to do so, we need to be able to lift a little bit our drone and have this helicopter view, look ourselves from the top, be aware of our own self, of our emotions, our thoughts, our body, and also create trust so people can open up and they can be open to coaching, right? At the same time, we have to be like smooth to create empathy and compassion among the group and help them, because we give a lot of activities. We have lots of things to offer. But then there's the reality. How do people apply that in their settings, in their frameworks, in their work? So we are there to help their sense making. At the same time, we're asking questions to help them reflect. And last but not least, it's very important to appreciate the learners, because if we look back to our own, for example, childhood and the teachers that we had, who do we remember? The ones that they were like not paying any attention to us, or the ones that they were really attentive and they were appreciating our efforts to learn? The latter, right? The latter. So that's about the framework of coaching learners. And the next one, thank you, Lavinia, is all about creating engaging sessions. So first thing about creating engagement, because I get this question very often, they ask, how do you come up with ideas? Because these are not ideas I can find on Google. I'm like, yeah, you have to be creative. You cannot think of them when you're sitting behind your laptop, but you have to stand up, to move around. I love going for walks, cycling. My best ideas are coming when I am showering. So completely get outside of the box, play board games, go dance, go to theater, and this will really give you ideas on how to create new things. And then I also saw in the chat something really brilliant. You were saying, yeah, things need to be connected with the learning outcomes. And it's one of the very basic principles of experience design. So thinking, what do the people need to learn? What are their needs? How can I design an experience that meets their needs? Also very important. The next part is about sharing stories, not just dumping information, but really putting a lot of context around it. Bring your own stories, bring characters. We've seen that works a lot. If we've done a session together, or if you will join our non-boring program that starts on the 15th of October, you will see that I just put myself there as a story all the time, or my sisters, my son, my husband. I saw pictures because people connect with that. They see it and they enjoy it. And something that the next competence is something is a sign of our times, right? That we need to be tech savvy to really know our stuff and be able to collaborate hybridly or fully digitally, or even if we are in the same room, to use lots of tools. They help with the attention, right? Like even in a simple workshop or meeting, you can already use a Mentimeter to help people interact, especially if you have bigger audiences like 100 people, 200 people. Is a super nice way of working. And then think of your session as a co-creation, not as a place that you are there and you orchestrate everything and you hold tight to everything and the learners are just passive objects. No, see it as a co-creation, as a calibration. As we started this session, from the beginning till the end, how can we move together as if it was a beautiful dance? So that's the second part. The third part is difficult participants. And is there somebody here who has ever experienced a challenging participant? Please raise your physical hand or two, or your digital hands. I want to see, don't be shy. Thank you. Yes, I see hands up, right? It happens to all of us, yes. And I've worked with facilitators who are new and facilitators who are really have like years and years of experience. And for all the time you're saying, right? It happens. What a great mentor of mine, Marco Vlaming, told me once is that it's not that if it's going to happen, that's not the question. The question is when it's going to happen. So you really need to be prepared because it's going to happen no matter what. So what do we need to pay attention? We need to pay attention to our communication. How do we communicate with them? To be courageous, to express our emotions and keep them also in the accountability part. Be perseverant in the way that we approach it. In case it escalates into a conflict, how we can resolve the conflict in a way that we create a trust environment for the rest of the group, because that can be very tricky over there. How can we include everyone? Because sometimes the difficult participants are the people that they never talk, they never speak up, and then we feel that we do something wrong because the whole group is silent, or some people are very silent. So how can we tackle that? And how can we stay adaptable? Because a difficult participant or several cases of difficult participants can really change the whole course of the program. So how can we stay adaptable in it? These are a couple of questions that are important to be answered. And then the last bit is the 3+1 of the framework, is the hidden gem that many people don't pay attention to, is the embodied presence, is how do we come across as a facilitator, includes the body language, how do I position myself in the room or in front of the camera, how do I use my voice and my body, how do I show my authentic self, right? Coming across also as an optimistic person. And why is it important? This part is very important because our emotions, when they are authentic, so if I'm genuinely happy to be here, then I'm passing them on to you and you feel it. But if I'm pretending to be happy and I have this fake smile and I'm like, it's so cool to see you all here and it's so nice. No, you also get it. And then I cannot engage you. So it really has to come from within. That's why we say it's very important and we role model it. Many times I hear people saying, yeah, people come in my session and they come like this and no. I'm like, I have the same. I was giving a workshop like a couple of days ago. I was in Paris and then people entered, the room was full and everybody had their laptops open and they were behind their laptops like this, a group full of men, right? Mechanic engineers. And I said, now we're gonna close the laptops. We don't need them for now. And I was looking at them, feeling that I really have love for them because I'm there to support their learning. And 9 out of 10, they closed their laptops and they were already, they opened up, they changed their body posture. So I'll tell you what happened with the one that didn't open up. Are you curious about it? The one who kept being behind their laptop. Are you a bit curious? I say Lavinia is. Yes. Yes, you're saying. Yes, it's the presence piece. So this person was sitting right across the room from me. And then I stood up like, chuk, 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 chuk. I'm quite small as a person. And I went there and I stood next to the person like this, side to side, not eye contact, so he doesn't feel confronted by me. And I kept giving the session, clicking the thing from this position. In the next slide, he had switched off the laptop and he was looking at me and communicating. Most probably he just needed to say, okay, I'm here, I want your attention. Negative way of asking for attention, always good to give a bit of support to the people. And that's okay, right? We can be playful, we don't have to get grumpy. Lovely. Now that you saw all these competencies and the bigger categories and the smaller ones, because these are all of them, we're gonna debunk them in the course. But now I'm very curious, Lavin, if you can press the button. Yes. Which of these competencies you would like to grow? Like which of these right now, looking at your facilitation practice, you are curious to grow, and the poll is out already and I see answers are coming. Yes. And we have like a full room here. I see 65 people already. Oh my God. Yes, half of you have responded. I can tell. Okay, there is one of the 4 competencies that is really ahead of the rest. They are quite ahead. Okay. Let's see. we have almost everybody answered. Let me see, the numbers are going. There is one that's really very dominant, very, very dominant. I can see the chat sometimes, and you're saying the laptop was his shield. Yes, yes, like a protection, right? That's how to protect ourselves. And feeling that you don't have to protect yourself because we are here to learn together. Now, everyone has answered. Maybe you want to share the results? Lavinia? Yes. Yes, the majority of you say creating engaging sessions. I love it. I love it. And I hope that this session is an inspiration for you on how to create engaging sessions. And next comes the coaching learners. Yes, how to coach them. We're going to work with that as well. How to handle difficult participants. More cases are coming next. And how to use your own body, right? Very cool. Very cool. And you're saying it was hard to choose only one. I know. They are all very valuable. Lovely. Thank you, Lavinia. If you could click the next slide. Now, if we look at the competencies, we're going to take them now one by one and dive a little bit more into them. The first one is the coaching learners. So when it comes to coaching, in the program, we explain different coaching strategies that you can use, different coaching tools, like from the growth model to looking into the NLP and understanding how neuro-linguistic programming works. But the core of all of it, if you want to have the core, is that the assumption of a coach is that the learner has all the answers themselves, and you are there as a coach to elicit these answers, to take these answers out. And how do you do it? Well, you do it with one very good way is to practice asking questions. And what kind of questions? Open-ended questions, reflective questions. That helps very much. Because I'm an embodied coach, I also offer embodied exercises, but that's also something we look at the course. So if you can click to the next one, to the next slide, you will see a couple of cases of what can happen in the room on your left-hand side and how can you work in a coaching manner on your right-hand side. So for example, you have an activity. It's an icebreaker, it's an activity related to the subject, anything. So instead of immediately going after the activity and telling participants, oh, we did this activity because of this and this connects to that and that point, reverse the tables, change them and ask them, how does it connect with the subject? What insights do you gain from the activity? You get them active, you get them out of their boredom, you get them speaking. Another case, you have participants like you gave the course, you finished it, you were going through a very nice model, participants were engaged, and then at the end, one said, I find it very difficult to apply this concept. So what do you do? Instead of jumping into explanations and telling them, giving them again the theory and overboard the rest of the people, no. What can you do? You can ask, okay, let's explore it together. What have you tried? Like stay with them, help them see what they have tried and it worked so far, like coach them instead of spoon feeding them more theory. Last one, you see the third one. If you're facilitating meetings or strategic conversations or a bit more like you're supporting people facing challenges, sometimes they feel that the challenge is really big and they feel overwhelmed. So instead of helping them and giving them direct instructions, solutions, this is really for leaders. How can you support your people? You can help them break it down. Smaller pieces, what would you tackle first? So when they see the challenge and it's like a big mountain, you can break it in pieces. Or there's this nice English saying, you can eat an elephant with a spoon, like step by step, step by step. I see in the chat you're writing, I like, tell me more about it. Yeah, help them talk more, elicit more. Very nice. And the next slide, please, because now we are going to ask you. You saw all these different questions. We have been warming up. People are putting in the chat already, which is amazing. So we're going to put a timer now for 2 minutes. I want you to focus on the next workshop session meeting that you're going to facilitate. Think about it. Look at the agenda. Look, maybe you can open it in your laptop. and look at the part that you usually face disengagement, or you see that people are like, you have to repeat things, and or if you haven't done it before, imagine how it will look like, and see where would you ask a coaching question and what kind of question would that be. Shall we start? I can set a timer, Lavinia. Yes, for 2 minutes. And when you are ready, put your question in the chat. If you can also write, instead of doing this, I will ask this, that's even better. That's even better, because then we can inspire each other. And in the meantime, I'm putting now 1 minute and a half. I've been talking for a half minute. If you ever worked with me, you also know that the breaks are never breaks, right? It's like a work in progress. Nice. The first questions are coming in the chat. Amazing. I see we have quite some coaching competencies here developed. Yes. Yes. I love it. 30 more seconds to go. And while you're thinking and typing, I will start reading. You're saying, what are some indicators of quality deliverables? How do you know when your deliverables are ready to turn over to a client? Really breaking it down and asking very specific questions. I love it. Gavin says, what might that look like in your work? Yes, very nice. Luke says, if this problem was solved, what would look like, what success looks like? I love it. Noella, you're saying, how else might we approach this complex topic? Yes, can we think outside of the box? Mook, you're saying, how are you currently doing the task? Oh, the time's up. How do you think you can do it differently? Can we think differently? Solo reflection, that's also good. Asking people to reflect on a solo, alone, I mean. Identify one specific customer interaction. You're chunking it down, making one specific interaction. Yes. What are the key metrics? Write your answer in the sticky notes, using sticky notes. Yes. Instead of asking, how do you apply this in your work next week? Ask, have you tried to address this problem? How have you tried to address this problem in the past? Yes. Amazing questions. How do you think this is a problem? How big is the problem? I love using it also with expressions with the body, right? How big is it? Is it bigger than you? Is it that small? What could it make it a little bit smaller? I love it. What is the biggest challenge to make it specific? Raluca, you're saying what else? Eliciting, yes. In the end of the session, what would be one small step? Yes. Francesco, you're saying what success looks like for you. I love it. I see people, you're putting more than one questions. If budget wasn't a problem, yes. What makes you tip? What is an ideal outcome? I love it. You have lovely, lovely, lovely. We have to make a list and we can send it. Yes, that would be a nice follow-up, right? Yes, thank you so much. I love it. But let's go to the next competence because we have the next one. So we are saying how to create engaging sessions. My tip, because I love movement, especially in these times that we all work at least half of our time digitally, it's so important to move. To move, it connects us with ourselves, with each other, even if it's digitally. My advice would be to start small with movement. You do 1 or 2 movement activities, use metaphors, embodied metaphors, and then you can do more and more. And let's give one example with the next slide so you see what we mean. One good example is the embodied scaling. Like create a scale on the floor. Instead of asking people from 1 to 10, where are you standing on X topic? Instead of just asking them and asking them to put a number, make it embodied. Give everyone 10 pieces of papers as you see in the picture and put them on the floor. And then ask them, where are you now? Then look at in the back and ask them, okay, what has happened in order for you to get where you are now? And then ask them, look in the future. And as you were writing in the chat, what does success look like? How does it feel if you step on number 10? You would be so surprised of all the inputs that the people will get and the insights, because it's different if I just say a number and it makes me really tick if I'm stepping on it and I'm like, oh, I'm on number 7. What have I done? Can I look back? What does my scale look like? And then if I physically step on number 10, I'm getting goosebumps. Like, what does it look like for me specifically? It's very empowering. And you can do it online, as you see in the pictures, offline as well. I'm doing it in both settings. You can do it in small groups, in bigger groups. That's one of the activities that I introduced, for example, with a big client of mine at Netflix in their leadership program. And they love it, and they do it in big rooms in all the regions. I'm talking about more than 100 leaders at the same time. Super empowering, especially if you want to have a nice end into your leadership program. Now, that was an idea of engaging activities. And the next one is all about handling difficult participants. We already talked about it. Let's see what else we can do. Now, if you haven't seen, no, the previous one. The first thing the first tip that I'll give you, and you can go into Offbeat and read the whole article about the 7 different types of difficult participants, right? Because I have, over the years, I've identified the 7 different types, from the Contario to Queasy, Silencia, and we present them with a very fun visual from the Snow White fairy tale. First, you need to understand which one is the one that tricks you. Like, is it the person who disagrees all the time that makes you like feel not nice? Or is it the person who challenges you with a question and then you don't have the answer? Or is it the person who is always silent and a little bit judgmental? Who is this person? The moment you identify, you are one step closer to the solution. And what we do in the program, and now we're going to give you a taste as well, is that we take each of these 7 cases and we give strategies how to handle, because every participant has a different way of handling. So Lavinia, if you can go to the next slide. And thank you, Joanna, for putting the article. Thank you very much. It's the hot potato technique. I love it. And most of the people that when I give it, they adore this technique. So this is the good example of how to handle the queasy participant, the participant who asks you a question and you're stumbled. You're like, oh, I don't know how to answer. Why do I don't know? No, I don't know. What can you do? Think as if this question was a hot potato. It's a hot potato you're holding. I should have brought my potato. I forgot it. You will excuse me because I have a newborn baby who was crying the whole afternoon. So I hope you excuse me. So I have the potato here. You don't want to hold it, right? You say I don't want to hold it. So what do you want to do with the potato? You throw it to somebody else. So the idea of the hot potato is that you don't keep this question. Don't keep it for yourself. Throw it in the group. Ask, for example, that's something that I do all the time. Like, people are asking questions about their specific context. And obviously I don't know because I'm an external facilitator. And then I ask, okay, who else is leading this type of groups and these tech teams? Other participants are raising up their hands. I'm like, okay, what do you advise? What do you think? What would you add? It's always smart because you engage the whole group and you are out of the spotlight in a very, very genuine way, and you're like sneaking out. You let the participants play with each other. They exchange ideas and everything. And you're there as a conductor again to pick it up again. The hot potato will be cool. And then you pick it up and you continue with the next topic. So that's one of the techniques, one of the 7 cases. For every case, we have many techniques, of course, all in the course. And the next slide, Lavinia, please. The embodied part. We already talked about the embodiment in handling difficult participants in the beginning and how I moved, so the proximity and the body posture. It's also very, very important to work with your voice, your tone of voice, your volume, your pitch, and your whole body posture. Everything is super important. The voice is more crucial when you deliver digitally because people don't see the rest of your body. They only see half of your body. Also very important to show hands because we are primitively hardwired to think that if we don't see the hands of somebody, that they are hiding something. Like back in the days, if people were going like this with their hands in the back, they were holding a weapon. So that we are neurologically primed to fear that there is something going on. So show your hands into the camera and use your body. So let me With the next slide, let me ask you now, if you take a moment to stop, and I breathe because I speak so fast, always we don't have enough time with these projects. Take a moment to observe your body and the way that you are sitting right now. Can you take a moment to observe yourself? Without judgment, just observe, like your shoulders, your eyes, where they look, your chins, your feet. Do you touch the floor? Or your feet are lifted? Are your legs crossed or open? Your hands? If you look at yourself now, and thank you for sharing, think that if somebody were to describe your body, describe your mood, just by looking at you right now, what would they say? What would they say if somebody would describe your mood without anything, without hearing you? Imagine that you're on mute for them. What would they say about your mood? Can you write in the chat? What would they say? They would say connected and focused, relaxed. Yes, yes. Relaxed. Oh, I see lots of relaxed. I love it. Curious, relaxed, focused. These are beautiful qualities if you want to learn something, by the way. Relaxed, engaged, barefoot. Yes, tired. It's midnight. Oh, thank you for joining if it's midnight. That's amazing. Barefoot. Yes. So you're very engaged. You're acting. I love that. So your emotions, so your body projects emotions and creates states, creates moods, and people are able to see them. So also your body is very, very, very important. And with that said, I hope I gave you a really good bite, a tiny itty bitty bite of what is the competency framework and how it works. And I'll leave it now to pass it on back to Lavinia so she can explain that what can you do if you want to learn more.
So, Lena comes with the knowledge, I come with the promotion part, which is my favorite part, but I just want to take a couple of seconds to tell you a bit about our program. It starts in 2 weeks, I think exactly 2 weeks from now. It's going to be 6 live sessions full of practice. So no just sitting and watching Lena talk. Each session will have space for practice, will have space for reflection, and will have space to practice all of these 4 competencies that we just talked about, because that's exactly what we're going to explore. We're going to start with the framework as an overview, and then we're going to spend 1 session per competency, and we're going to end, although it's not shown here, we are going to end with a reflection session to make sure that whatever we explored in the program can be taken away and applied to our own context. So we have a session for engaging sessions, coaching, addressing difficult participants, and embodied presence. The question is, okay, what can I get as an individual? But maybe you're also a people manager looking to grow facilitation skills in your team. You can, as an individual, you can already imagine, you can capture people's attention, you can create more fun, and I would say even more adequate activities to whatever goal you have for the session. And of course, as facilitators, just I can tell you myself having now a bit of anxiety, a bit of insecurity, how can we get past that? On the other hand, as a people manager or as an organization, I think Gavin mentioned in the chat, there's a lot of power in knowledge sharing. So your facilitators will be able to elicit and create that space for knowledge sharing, will increase engagement in the sessions, and also a post-workshop application, which is obviously why we are doing all of this, including our program. So I think Ivana already added the link to the program in the chat. You can go there and learn more. We are also going to follow up with the link and a list of all the questions that were here. We promise we're gonna make them nice, put them nicely, and share those either tomorrow and in the next couple of weeks. And this being said, if you can write in the chat one word that you are taking away today. Like it can be today, for the evening, for midnight, for the morning, because it feels like we are all over the world. So just to close this session in a reflective way, what's one thing you are taking away? Excited, simplification, embodied presence, inspiration, engaged, connection, inspiration, community. Yes, that's what we are all about, community. Taking the knowledge from the room and sharing it with everyone. Research, embodied scaling, motivated, and embodied practice seems to be like this word embodied seems to be definitely something that stuck with you.